Hi, Miss Wolfe's class. I will not be in today or tomorrow. Miss Hanson will be in tomorrow on Tuesday. So I'm going to start reading our latest Magic Treehouse, number 35. It's a Merlin mission. Night of the New Magicians. We are going to Paris, France, and the Eiffel Tower. This book has 10 chapters. Chapter 1. 4 New Magicians. Jack sat on the porch, reading in the summer twilight. Crickets chirped in the Frog Creek woods. The bell of an ice cream truck jingled down the street. Annie stepped out the front door. "Let's go," she said. "Where?" said Jack. "Mom gave us money for ice cream," she said. "Cool," said Jack. He pulled on his backpack. Then he followed Annie down the porch steps. As they headed up the sidewalk, the smell of damp leaves and moss wafted from the woods. Annie stopped walking. "Listen," she said. Jack listened. "What?" he said. "I don't hear anything." "That's the point," said Annie. "A minute ago, the crickets were blaring away. Now everything's super quiet." Jack listened again. Annie was right. All the Frog Creek woods seemed to be holding its breath. "Do you think?" said Jack. "Maybe," said Annie, grinning. "Let's go check." Jack and Annie hurried across the street and into the dimly lit woods. They walked quickly between the leafy trees until they came to the tallest oak. A rope ladder dangled from the treetop. The magic tree house sat high in the branches, catching the last light of day. Jack smiled. "I guess ice cream will have to wait," he said. "Yep," said Annie. She grabbed the ladder and climbed up. Jack climbed up after her. Inside the treehouse, dusky light filtered through the window. Laying on the wooden floor was a folded piece of paper and a slim book with a red cover. Annie grabbed the paper. Jack picked up the book. "This must be a research book for Morgan," he said. The book title was written in gold letters. Guidebook, Paris World Fair, 1889. "Paris World Fair," said Jack. "That sounds like fun," said Annie. "Yeah, but I wonder why we're going there," said Jack. "This should tell us," said Annie. She unfolded the paper. "It's Merlin's handwriting," she read aloud. "To Jack and Annie of Frog Creek. I have discovered that an evil sorcerer is plotting to steal the secrets of 4 new magicians at the Paris World Fair. Your mission is to find the magicians, warn them, and learn their secrets for me. The 4 new magicians are the Magician of Sound. His voice can be heard for 1,000 miles. The Magician of Light. His fires glow, but they do not burn. Magician of the Invisible. He battles deadly enemies no one can see. The Magician of Iron. He bends the metals of earth and triumphs over the wind. Good luck, M." "Our mission sounds more like a fairy tale than real life," said Jack. "And an evil sorcerer? Magician of the Invisible, Light, Sound, and Iron? They sound like they belong in a magical place like Camelot. Not a real place like Paris, France." "But we're going to the World Fair," said Annie. "That sounds kind of magical, doesn't it?" "Maybe," said Jack. "But why do such powerful magicians need our help in the first place. Why can't they defeat the evil sorcerer with their own powers? Maybe the sorcerer's power is stronger than theirs, said Annie. So maybe we can help them with Teddy and Kathleen's rhymes, said Jack. Annie gasped, "Oh no, we need the rhyme book. We have to go back home and get it." "Don't worry, I have it," said Jack. "Ever since we got back from Baghdad, I've been taking it with me everywhere I go, just in case Merlin sends for us." "Phew," said Annie. "Let's take a look." Jack reached into his backpack. He pulled out the small notebook written by their two young sorcerer friends from Camelot. 10 magic rhymes for Annie and Jack from Teddy and Kathleen. Jack turned to the table of contents. "Okay, we've used 5 rhymes on our last 2 missions," he said. "So we have 5 left for the next 2. We haven't used spin in the air, or make something disappear, or pull a cloud from the sky, or find a treasure you must never lose, or turn into ducks. Quack, quack." Jack looked up. "Just kidding," said Annie. "Better not make jokes about these rhymes. You might end up saying the wrong one at the wrong time and really get us in trouble." He closed the rhyme book. "Ready to go?" "Ready," said Annie. Jack took a deep breath and picked up the guidebook to the 1889 Paris World Fair. He pointed to the title. "I wish we could go there," he said. The wind started to blow. The treehouse started to spin. It spun faster and faster. Then everything was still. Absolutely still. Chapter 2. A Living Encyclopedia. Jack opened his eyes. The scent of roses floated through the warm twilight. Jack was wearing an old-fashioned cap, a rust-colored jacket, and knee-length pants. His backpack had turned into a leather satchel. Annie was wearing a puffy white blouse and a long purple skirt with a ruffle. "Look, there's the Eiffel Tower," she said. Jack looked. They had landed in a park filled with trees. Beyond the park, rising into the sky, was a tall tower with lights beaming from the top. "That's the Eiffel Tower, all right," said Jack. "But where's the World's Fair?" He opened their guidebook and found a map. "Oh, great. It looks like the fair is directly below the tower. That should make it easy to find." "Let's get going," said Annie. "Wait, we need to go over what we have to do on our mission," said Jack. "It's simple," said Annie. "We have to find the magician of sound, the magician of light, the magician of invisibility, and the magician of iron. We have to warn them about the evil sorcerer and then learn their secrets for Merlin." "That doesn't sound simple to me," said Jack. "It sounds like a huge responsibility." "So we better start now," said Annie. "Come on." Annie led the way down the treehouse ladder. Jack put their World's Fair guide into his satchel along with their letter from Merlin and the book of rhymes from Teddy and Kathleen. Then he followed Annie down the ladder. As Jack and Annie started across the park, a clinking sound came from Annie's skirt pocket. She reached into her pocket and pulled out a handful of coins. "Hey, our ice cream money got changed into French coins," she said. "Good," said Jack. "We might need them at the fair." Jack and Annie followed a gravel path that led out of the park and onto an avenue lit by gas streetlights. Horse-drawn carriages and old-fashioned bicycles clattered over the cobblestones. They all seemed to be heading towards a crowded bridge that crossed a wide river. Boats were gliding down the river, their lights reflecting in the water. On the far side of the river, thousands of tiny lamps twinkled along the bank. The Eiffel Tower glowed in the silver twilight. "Paris is so beautiful," said Annie. No kidding, said Jack. Let's cross that bridge to the fair. They hurried to join the people streaming across the bridge. Jack and Annie blended in easily with their happy crowd. The kids in the crowd were all wearing clothes like theirs. Most of the men wore black top hats, black coats, and pants. The women wore hats as big as flower baskets. Their long, colorful dresses puffed out in back. There seemed to be visitors from many countries. Jack saw Chinese straw hats, Dutch caps, several Indian turbans, and a Mexican sombrero. This reminds me of the carnival we went to in Venice, she said. Me too, said Jack. Except in Venice, people were wearing costumes. Here, they're wearing their real clothes. Remember, this is a World's Fair. Cool, said Annie. Jack looked around. How would they recognize the 4 new magicians, he wondered. Would they be dressed like people from Paris? Or people from another country? Or would they look like Merlin or Morgan in flowing medieval clothes? And what about the evil sorcerer? Looks like we buy our tickets over there, said Annie as they reached the end of the bridge. Jack and Annie headed for a ticket booth near the entrance. Above the gate, a giant banner read, "Welcome to the 1889 Paris World's Fair." As they stood in line waiting to buy tickets, Jack pulled out their guidebook. "We need to prepare for our mission," he said. He turned to the first page and read aloud. "Welcome to the World's Fair, a living encyclopedia with over 60,000 exhibits from all over the globe. Maybe some of the exhibits are magic shows," said Annie. "That's where we'll find the new magicians." "Maybe," said Jack. He kept reading. "This World's Fair is a showcase of progress. Discover the genius of man. Learn all about science and technology. See wondrous new machines and inventions." Jack looked up. He said. "It sounds like this fair is mainly about inventions and scientific stuff. I don't see anything here about magic or magicians." "How many?" the ticket seller asked gruffly. They had reached the front of the line. Annie held out a handful of French coins. "2, please." The ticket seller took 2 coins. Annie put the remaining change back in her pocket. Then she and Jack walked through the gate into the 1889 Paris World's Fair. Chapter 3. Magic, Magicians. "Wow," said Jack and Annie together. Inside the crowded fairgrounds, below the looming Eiffel Tower, a band played a lively march. Fountains shot colored water high into the sky. A small train chugged through the crowd, blowing its whistle. People of all ages from many different countries bristled about in the twilight. Everyone seemed to be having fun, reading from the guidebooks, strolling from one exhibit to another, or buying refreshments and souvenirs. "We can't see much from here," said Annie. "It's hard to know what's going on." "What about the little train?" said Jack. "Maybe we could ride on it and get a good look at everything." "Great idea," said Annie. The train whistle blew again. "Over there," said Jack. He pointed to a clear space where passengers were getting off the train and others were boarding. "Hurry," said Jack. They raced to the train and jumped on. Annie dug into her pocket and took out some coins. She held them out to the conductor. He took a few, and Jack and Annie squeezed into seats on a wooden bench. The whistle blew, steam sputtered out of the smokestack, and the small train began to move. "Look for anything about magic or magicians," said Jack. As the train slowly trudged through the World's Fair, a tour guide's voice blared from a megaphone. "Welcome to the World's Fair sightseeing train. On your ride, you will witness the astonishing history of human structures as seen nowhere on Earth. In every age, buildings had style and beauty. The train chugged by cave drawings, canvas tents, and huts made of mud. Magic? Magicians? Jack thought as he looked at the different structures. No, no, no. The train passed a thatched roof cottage, a mission with columns, and a palace with a huge golden dome. No, Jack thought. Now we will visit the many lands of the world, the tour guide said. First, Egypt. The train chugged past on an outdoor cafe. Smells of grilled meat and rich coffee filled the air. 3 women with veils over their faces danced to flute music. No magicians here, thought Jack. Next we have an African village on the beautiful Serengeti Plain, said the tour guide. They passed a cluster of huts surrounded by tall grass. People played drums and shook gourd rattles. Still no magicians, thought Jack. And now we visit a New York City festival in faraway China, a New Year's festival in faraway China, said the guide. The train chugged by Chinese acrobats and a huge dancing red dragon. Dragons are sort of magic, aren't they? Said Annie, looking back. It's just a couple of guys in a costume, said Jack. That doesn't count. On our left is a Muslim mosque, the tour guide said. On the right, a Buddhist temple. Here is an exquisite Japanese garden. No, murmured Jack. The train passed by a show with dolls dressed in outfits from all around the world. It rolled by a giant brown statue of a woman. This amazing creation is the Roman goddess Venus, said the tour guide, made entirely of chocolate. That is amazing, said Annie. It is, but it's not magic, said Jack. The train rode by a globe of the world, at least 3 stories high. The globe was turning slowly. See the lovely mountains, deserts, rivers, and oceans of Earth, said the tour guide. This fair really is a living encyclopedia, said Annie. But the encyclopedia doesn't have what we need to find, said Jack. He sighed and started thumbing through the guidebook. Ah, fantastic, a train passenger said. Shocking, said another. Magical, exclaimed another. Jack looked up. Did someone say magical? He asked Annie. False alarm, said Annie. They're talking about the Eiffel Tower. The train came to a stop. All the passengers were gazing up. Pink lights lit the huge arches at the base of the tower. The Eiffel Tower was built especially for the World's Fair, said the guide. The tower is nearly 1,000 feet high, making it the tallest structure in the world today. Some of you may want to leave us here to get a closer look at Paris's new miracle. People began climbing off the train. Maybe we should get off here, said Jack. This train isn't much help. Jack and Annie jumped off the train. Just before the whistle blew and it started moving again. That's a tall tower, Jack said, looking up. Really tall. She's talking about iron rods rose in crisscross patterns high into the sky. Large elevators clanked up through the tower's lacy ironwork. Powerful spotlights beamed from the top of the tower, sweeping along fingers of light over the city. It would be fun to ride to the top in one of those elevators, said Annie. I know, but we don't have the time, said Jack. We have to find the 4 new magicians before the evil sorcerer finds them. I wonder if he's here yet, said Annie. Jack and Annie looked around at all the people busily moving about the fairgrounds, going from one exhibit to another. Parents were holding their children's hands and pointing to the tower. Couples were strolling arm in arm. Everyone seemed happy and excited. No one looks like an evil sorcerer, thought Jack. No one looks like a magician of sound, or a magician of light, or a magician of invisibility, or a magician of iron either. Jack's thoughts were interrupted by a young girl's voice. You see, Papa, it is magic. Magic, said Jack. He and Annie looked at each other. Over there, said Annie. She pointed to a nearby exhibit. The little girl was laughing as her father pressed a pair of earpieces against his ears. Jack and Annie walked closer to the exhibit. It's positively unbelievable, Mimi, the man said, shaking his head. It's magic, isn't it, Papa? Said the girl. It can send a voice 1,000 miles. Annie grabbed Jack's arm. Did you hear what she said? She whispered. Send a voice 1,000 miles? That's what the magician of sound does. Right, says Jack. He and Annie looked at a sign above the exhibit. It said, telephone, a new invention by Alexander Graham Bell. She's talking about a telephone, said Jack. I guess it's just been invented. So, Alexander Graham Bell must be the magician of sound, said Annie. Oh, man, do you think Alexander Graham Bell is here in person? Said Jack. I'll ask. She walked to a gray-haired woman helping with the exhibit. Excuse me, but do you know where we can find Alexander Graham Bell? I'm afraid he just left, the woman said. Where did he go? Asked Annie. I don't know. A strange man gave me an invitation to give to Mr. Bell. When Mr. Bell read it, he left at once. That is all I know. Excuse me. The woman turned away to answer someone else's question. Alexander Graham Bell, Jack said to Annie. He's a famous inventor, not a magician. The evil sorcerer must have heard about the telephone and thought it was magic, said Annie. I wonder what that invitation said, and why did the lady say the messenger was strange? Let's ask. Annie tapped the gray-haired woman on the arm. Excuse me, we have 2 more questions. Do you know what was on the invitation? And why did you say the messenger was strange? I don't know what the invitation said, replied the woman, but the man who delivered it was dressed in a long, dark cloak. He wore a hood that hid most of his face, and he spoke in a whispery, deep voice. Jack felt a chill go down his spine. So that's what the evil sorcerer looks like, he thought, just like you'd expect. Sounds like a sorcerer, Annie whispered to Jack. I know, said Jack, looking around. Do you have any idea where the strange man in the cloak went? Annie asked. He asked for directions to the Hall of Machines. Where's that? Is that here at the fair? Yes, of course. It is that gigantic building made of glass. You can see the roof. The woman pointed to an arched glass rooftop, looming above other fair buildings in the distance. I see it. Good, said the woman. Excuse me now, I must help some other people. Sure, thanks, said Annie. Let's go, she said to Jack. She started walking quickly across the fairgrounds. Wait, said Jack, hurrying after her. The messenger is the sorcerer. I just know it, said Annie. Of course he is, said Jack. But what do we do when we find him? I don't know yet, said Annie. He could be dangerous, said Jack. We need to make a plan. "We need to find him first," said Annie, "before he gets away. Hurry." She broke into a run and dashed towards the Hall of Machines. Chapter 4. Wizard of Menlo Park. Jack ran after Annie. He caught up with her outside the huge building made of glass. She was standing in line waiting to buy tickets. "Listen, we've got to make a plan. What if we suddenly find the sorcerer? What do we say to him? What if he tries to use his powers against us? We use a rhyme." "Which rhyme?" said Jack. "How many, children?" interrupted the ticket seller. They'd reached the front of the line. "2, please," said Annie, holding out some coins. The man gave her 2 tickets, and Annie turned back to Jack. "Let's go inside and see if we can find the sorcerer. Then we can figure out which rhyme." "Okay, but be cool," said Jack, "so the sorcerer doesn't notice us." Jack and Annie walked through the entrance of the glass building. "Oh, man," whispered Jack. The Hall of Machines was the size of a football stadium. It was filled with thousands of people and thousands of machines. Motors roared, wheels spun, gears clanked. "What kind of place is this?" asked Annie. Jack pulled out his guidebook and read, "In the Hall of Machines, you will see machines from all over the world, bringing alive the world of engineers and inventors. You will see how cloth is sewn by machines to make clothes. You will see an exhibit of an automobile powered by gasoline. And of course, you will see a collection of inventors by American Grand Prize winner from Menlo Park, New Jersey." "Look at that," Annie interrupted. She pointed to a mechanical walkway overhead. The walkway circled the entire exhibit hall. Sightseers gazed down at all the exhibits. "We can get a look at everything from up there." "Good," said Jack. "Maybe we can spot the sorcerer." He put away the guidebook and led the way to the stairs. They stepped onto the crowded moving walkway and peered down at all the people milling about the exhibit hall below. There were lots of men dressed in black coats and top hats. There were American cowboys and bearded men in Arab robes and headcloths, but Jack didn't see a single scary-looking guy in a hooded cloak. As Jack and Annie moved slowly over the exhibits, the air grew hotter and the sound in the hall grew louder. Hammers hammered, sirens blew, bells rang, whistles whistled. The voices of other sightseers swirled around Jack and Annie. "That's genius! The age of machines. He's the Wizard of Menlo Park." "Did you hear that?" Annie shouted to Jack. "Someone said something about a wizard." "I heard," said Jack. "The Wizard of Menlo Park. We just read something about it. Menlo Park." He pulled out the guidebook and found the page he'd been reading. He read aloud, "And of course, you will see a collection of inventors by the American Grand Prize winner from Menlo Park, New Jersey, Mr. Thomas Alva Edison." "Thomas Alva Edison?" said Jack. "He's one of the most brilliant inventors who ever lived. Where's his exhibit?" They looked down at all the booths. Directly below them was a booth with a big sign that said Edison. "There, let's go down," said Annie. When the moving walkway came to a staircase, Jack and Annie jumped off and hurried down to the main floor, squeezing past people as they went. "Okay, where is it?" said Annie, looking around. "Follow me," said Jack. He led her down a wide aisle until they came to the Edison exhibit. Lots of people were gathered around the booths. Jack and Annie slipped through the crowd to get a good look. Many of Thomas Edison's inventions were on display. One of them had a big tube and a lot of switches. Above it was a sign, phonograph. "What's a phonograph?" Annie asked. "I think it's like an old-fashioned CD player. It was the first thing that played recordings of music." A man with earphones was listening to the phonograph. Tears ran down his wrinkled face. "It's incredible," he said to the woman beside him. "Now we can hear the dead sing." "What does he mean?" Annie asked. "I guess he means that even after people die, you'd still be able to hear their voices on the recording," said Jack. "Never thought of it that way," said Annie. "Shh," someone said. People were trying to listen to a man delivering a speech to the crowd. His name tag said Henry. "Yes, indeed," Henry was saying. "Thomas Alva Edison of Menlo Park, New Jersey, USA, invented the phonograph, shown to the public for the first time here at the Paris World's Fair. Mr. Edison has invented many other things, too." Henry moved another display in the booth. A light bulb was the switch. He clicked the switch, turning the bulb on and off. Okay, we'll have to end that here, and I will see you on Wednesday.